So I'm Cynthia, and today our topic is going to be motivation. So when I talk about motivation, what I mean is like a motive for you to wake up in the morning. Like what wakes you up and gets you going to be intentional and to reach your goals. You got to think about that motive. A lot of times people wake up feeling sluggish, feeling unmotivated and just maybe you don't have the same kind of energy that you have every time you wake up. Like it just doesn't come every day. Sometimes people feel sluggish, overwhelmed, especially as entrepreneurs when you have to like market and then you're hiring people. A lot of times you're working for free, so you're not seeing the profit of everything that you're putting into your business. And sometimes that can really bother you when you wake up. So in order to kind of just like wake up and get out of that funk, just understand that a lot of people, go through that. So, but I think that finding your why is the most important thing. So some people have like material things that are their whys. Some people have, just people as their whys that motivate them and keep them going. Some people have like just a certain goal in their mind. But you think about your why, and a lot of times for parents, it could even be your kids. And then you kind of hang on to that and really eat off of that every day. So that is really important, just knowing your why in general. Motivation within yourself. So when it comes to finding motivation within yourself, a lot of times you have to stop and applaud yourself, and just look back at where you started from. Like a lot of us started from a little tiny room. A lot of us just started with just a thought, and you thought it would just be a side hustle and things like that. A lot of you are still starting off. So, but still thinking like, okay, you actually started is a really big deal. And sometimes you have to really credit yourself for that. Barriers that you broke. Some people, feel as though they were never going to make it as far as they did. A lot of people have, just people in your circle or around you telling you that you're not going to be able to do it. So the fact that you're actually doing it, the fact that you're actually waking up and you're taking initiative to kind of look up these videos and just, pretty much put that energy into something that you don't know if it's 100% sure going to work is a big deal. And like I said, just taking that first step that you actually took, you should really be proud of yourself for that, because out of fear, a lot of people don't take that first step, and it always feels like something that you wish you would have did or something that you feel like you could have done. So take some time to credit yourself, to give yourself, that sense of acknowledgement. You really actually did do it. And so wake up and feel that energy, even if your parents, for us parents, it's just, for me, like my why and the reason that keeps me going is knowing that, I'm setting an example for my kids. It's also knowing that I'm breaking generational curses by just waking up, getting on camera, or just, focusing on my business and doing services and starting a business from scratch. I just know that at the end of the day, it is going to pay off, and it doesn't always have to be money-wise. It pays off internally. So you kind of got to stick with that and just kind of feel that out. But you guys are doing great. Every small step is a big step. A lot of times it's drawing motivation out of yourself. So these are some tips and some ways that I think you guys could kind of focus on and just like draw motivation out of yourself. So things that I tell myself too, like you are your biggest asset. You're able and you're capable to do everything that you put your mind to. You can achieve your goals. You're not lower than anybody else. So just on that topic alone, I think that a lot of times just looking at other people's success, or even looking at other people's social medias, or looking at, other people getting booked out, and then you're not, but don't look at that like that is where you're going to stay. Like this is all just a season, and it's about, showing up every day and getting better. And so the fact that, you do show up every day, just focus on the things that you can make better, but don't compare yourself, and don't let anybody make you feel like you're less than, or, they're better than you. You're just as good as you believe that you are. So you have to believe that you're that good. So, and you're also capable. And just knowing that your dream life is not too far from you. Like just because it seems like a dream and it doesn't seem like you're going to reach it next week, doesn't mean that it's impossible. A lot of us start our businesses as like a side hustle, thinking it's just something that we want to do here and there. And little by little, you start realizing that that side hustle becomes your main hustle. And that is just a blessing in itself. So, just showing up every day and reminding yourself that you are capable. If you really want to stay motivated and reach your goals, there are things that you're going to have to avoid. And I know a lot of us have a hard time with this part because you kind of just want to go where you're going and, keep your people, keep your circle, keep your comfort in place, but you're going to have to get uncomfortable and you're going to have to avoid a couple of things. So we're going to talk about some things you can avoid, like distractions. Distractions are really big, and distractions could be even the smallest things, like being on social media too long and you're not being productive, but you're kind of just swooping down your timeline all day. That's a distraction. When you talk about like partying and hanging out and doing too much just social in general, that's a distraction. And when it comes to your personal life too, your personal life can really be a distraction to your business. So really finding that balance is really important. So if you're working from home, or you're a home-based Lash tech, or you're just a home-based entrepreneur in general, and you're working from home, and let's say you wake up in the morning and you realize your house needs to be clean, you need to know and find a balance between, okay, right now I'm not going to clean because right now I should be working on my business. So it's kind of hard to do that even for me sometimes when I'm working from home, because you kind of just want to like take a little bit to fix something or clean something, or you get distracted with just your household things. So making yourself isolate yourself, if that makes sense, and just putting yourself in a state of mind where you just kind of know, like, okay, right now it's business time, nothing else is going to distract me. That's a really, really big deal. I've seen a really big difference in my business ever since I started incorporating that. So another thing that you need to stop doing is being too available. So when you're too available, that means anybody can call your phone and you're just picking up because you're your own boss and you have that kind of time. And you start having these conversations with people that have nothing to do with your business. And the next thing you know, you look back and you wasted an hour just on a phone call that really just threw you off of your game. So that's a distraction too. And kind of noticing that, I think makes a really big difference in your success. Because when you're talking about being motivated and you're talking about success, that comes day to day. It's not like just one big chunk. So you have to focus on your day to day and realize, okay, what am I doing that's making me, not be motivated? So if I'm on the phone with everybody else who's, let's say, complaining about their lives, or they're just partying and hanging out, or they are not talking about business in general, then you're probably going to realize once you get off that phone that you're not motivated the way you were when you first woke up. So definitely protect your energy. And that brings me into just talking about like negative energy, negative people. Like if you have people around you, even if they're your long-term friends, even if they're your family members, if you're talking about your dreams and your goals and your success, and they're putting you down or telling you that you can't do it, or trying to give you all these reasons why it might be too hard for you, you don't need to hear that. So that's the kind of stuff that you have to be willing to cut off. And for a lot of us, it's close family, it's close friends, it's your circle. So eventually you need to be willing to sacrifice those things for your own energy and keep yourself motivated, surround yourself with different kind of people and avoid the negative people and negative environments. If you're gonna go to your friend's house and you know that everybody over there is drinking, or everybody at your friend's house is hanging out, then you probably don't want to go over there when you should be focusing on your business. So you have to really be disciplined enough to take things serious, and that's how you're gonna start realizing, like, okay, I'm motivated every day because I'm successful every day, and I have a plan every day, and I'm actually sticking to my targets every day. That makes a really big difference too. Like I said earlier, you take some time out and you think to yourself, like, wow, I really did good. Like even the small things, if you did something that you probably usually don't do. Like let's say I got a flyer made today. And also following social media that do the same thing that you do. So not just business people or not just entrepreneurs, but definitely people in your own niche, I think is a really big deal, because you get ideas, you start to realize, you start to think outside of the box and realize things that maybe you weren't thinking about. So definitely social media can really, really help you out. But, appreciating your work is really big. And just writing down your goals. Like this is something that's really big for me. Like just writing down my goals and accomplishments. So I have a little book, and everything that I do, I kind of just write down, even if it's the smallest thing. If I got a flyer made and, you know, it's a professional flyer and that's something that I've been saying I was going to do, I'll write that down. Like from the smallest things to the biggest things, they all matter. So any goal, any achievement that you feel like you did, even just waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning and working on your business, write that down. And then when you feel like you're unmotivated, you can always look back like, wow, I did all this stuff. You know, so I think that that really keeps you pushing when you start to realize all the things that you are accomplishing. And surrounding yourself personally and physically with people that inspire you or that push you or that motivate you. Those are the kind of people that you want to keep yourself around. Uh, and a lot of times it's hard because a lot of people live with people that are kind of just bringing them down. So if you can find your way out of that situation or kind of just avoid that situation in general, I would, and just surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up, that are going to push you on the days that you don't want to keep going. That's a really big one. And positive affirmations for me have really helped me a lot. Just sometimes like looking in the mirror and I really have to tell myself like, Cynthia, you got this. You know, like you're gonna go, you're gonna do this lash appointment, you're gonna, you know, do this video, you're gonna push your business, like you got this, you can do this. And sometimes you don't really feel that feeling, but if you talk to yourself that way, it works. Like I've tried it, it works. People used to tell me do positive affirmations and I was like, that's never gonna work for me, but it really does work. You guys really have to try it if you haven't tried it before. And then, you know, don't limit yourself is a really big thing that I want you guys to kind of keep in mind and definitely take away from this video. It's like when you start to limit yourself in your mind, like, oh, I can only do this, or I only have the money for something, or I can only, and you start to put yourself in a bubble, you're really going to start to realize that you're stuck in that bubble. So be willing to, you know, think big. When you think big, write your goals down. When you write your goals down, keep them somewhere where you can see them. And there's just power in the pen. So once you realize like you're writing things down, eventually you're going to start to realize like, wow, I really did some, if not all of that stuff that I wrote down that were just thoughts. Well, I hope this video helped you guys out today. I hope that it motivated somebody. And if it did, feel free to share it with somebody else who might need motivation. And definitely comment below. I want to see like what motivates you guys. Like comment like our whys in the comments. And like share that with each other, and that'll kind of motivate me too. So I will see you guys next time, and remember, one day at a time, and every small step becomes your big step in the long run.